Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian and this is the weekend pickups episode for week 25 of the fantasy hockey season. Now this week is a really important one for all of you guys because you're either in the semifinals or in the finals. And that's pretty freaking important, guys. So I'm going to do my best to help you choose the best players to add for this weekend in order to make sure that you take this week and either win your championship or make the finals. Now, before we get started, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter. I'm tweeting out a lot, so be sure to follow me at Fantasy Tipped for some additional tips. Now let's jump right into it and let's start with the schedule for this weekend. And as you can see here, on Friday there are only 4 teams playing. On Saturday there are 28, and on Sunday there are 12. So in all likelihood, your lineup is full on Saturday. I'm still doing my normal weekend episode where I suggest players that play both Friday, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, and Saturday, Sunday. But check your lineup. In all likelihood, your lineup is full on Saturday, so you probably won't be picking anybody up for Saturday. But just in case, this next section is for players that play both Friday and Saturday if you need a stream for that. So there are 2 teams that play both Friday and Saturday, and those teams are Montreal and Winnipeg. And you've probably already picked up players for those teams, considering I've been suggesting them for a little while now for this week because they did have a really good Monday, Wednesday, and Friday off night schedule. But just in case you still haven't picked them up, here they are. The number 1 guy to grab would be Cole Caulfield, 66% rostered, playing Suzuki on the top line, top power play. He's playing really, really well. Definitely the number 1 ad. Then Paul Stastny centering the top line now that Scheifele is out. And he's playing pretty freaking well right now. Then Brendan Gallagher, who just came off of a 3-game point streak, but he's looking pretty good right now, skating with Dvorak. And Dvorak is the next guy, playing also on the top power play and the line with Gallagher. It's a pretty good place to be, so I don't mind Dvorak. Then Adam Lowry is their 3rd line center. Not my favorite thing in the world, but he does provide a relatively safe floor every night with hits, and he could provide a point every now and then as well. Then Mike Hoffman does skate on the top power play in Montreal and plays on a line with Josh Anderson and Jake Evans. Not the best line in the world, but as of late, he hasn't been too bad, so I don't mind it if you need it. Then Rem Pitlick plays top line with Caulfield and Suzuki. Been a little bit colder as of late, but the deployment is there, and he's been pretty solid ever since Montreal has acquired him, so it's still not a terrible option. Just don't expect any peripherals. Then Josh Anderson, he'll give you a relatively safe floor with hits and with shots on goal, but could go negative on plus minus, and hasn't really been super hot point-wise. Then I have Morgan Barron, who is actually on the 2nd line right now because both Wheeler and Scheifele are injured. And the last game against Montreal, he got a goal and an assist. Now, before that, he wasn't doing a whole lot, but he is being given a better deployment now. So let's see if he can continue this momentum. If he does, he could definitely move up on this list. Then I have Joel Armia of the Montreal Canadiens, and he's someone who, he's not in the best deployment in the world, but he is with Gallagher and Dvorak. No power play, but Gallagher and Dvorak are pretty hot right now, so Armia is someone that you can add in the deepest of leagues. Moving on to the most important part of the video now, Friday and Sunday games. Why is this the most important? Because in all likelihood, you only have room in your lineup on Friday and Sunday. Anyway, you probably can't fit any players on Saturday. So there are 2 teams that play both Friday and Sunday. Those teams are Florida and the New York Islanders. Adding players from these teams is really going to help you secure your win for this week because you'll actually be able to fit them in your schedule for those 2 nights. The number 1 guy to add would be Brock Nelson of the New York Islanders. Was really, really hot. Slowed down a little bit, but he's producing once again. He's been their most consistent player pretty much all year, so Brock Nelson is definitely someone that I would add for those Friday and Sunday games if he is available. Then Anthony Duclair plays top line and top power play with Barkov. Really good deployment. Honestly, really solid player. He's been good all year, so definitely the next guy I would grab. Then JG Pajot of the New York Islanders. He's someone that I think could be a league winner given how hot he is lately, scoring a lot of goals, playing really well, playing top power play. Definitely someone I like. Anton Liddell, finally back from injury. He's been back for a few games now. Looking pretty decent, playing on the 3rd line only, but he's managed to produce the entire season playing on that 3rd line, so I definitely don't mind that. Matthew Barzal, I put him on this list even though he's 69% rostered. He has not been good lately. He's really not been good at all. He's been going negative plus minus a lot, not scoring any points in a while, but the upside is way too high to put him any lower than this on his list. If he's available, he's definitely a must-add for this weekend. Then Carter Verhaeghe plays with Duclair and with Barkov on that top line. Doesn't play on the top power play, does get PP2 time, and he's a little bit streaky, but he definitely is an opportunity to put up points given that deployment. Then I have Kyle Palmieri of the New York Islanders playing on a line with Pajot, and he's one of the hottest Islanders right now. At only 7% rostered, I really do like adding Palmieri for this weekend. And then I have Anders Lee, who seems to be back to the Anders Lee of old. Earlier this year, he was terrible earlier in the season. Then he had a recent very, very, very hot streak, and now he seems to be sinking back down to that not so great level. But if there's nobody better available, he's still someone that could explode at any moment. Then I have Mason Marchment, who has been unreal this year, but as of late has not been good, has gone pointless in a lot of games straight. And that's why I have him here, but the upside for Marchment is definitely very high. The dude can also explode at any moment. So if you're down by quite a bit and you do need a lot of points, Mason Marchment and Anders Lee are high risk, but they do have a possible high reward due to their explosion potential. And then I have Patrick Hornquist of the Florida Panthers, and him and everyone below him on this list I'm not super crazy about. But unfortunately, they're probably going to have to be added this weekend if everybody above them is taken, because you're going to need guys to add to your lineup to help you, get some extra points. If your lineup's full on Saturday, adding guys for Friday and Sunday is almost essential to help you secure this win this week. Hornquist plays on Florida's fourth line, which is not great, but he does give you a relatively safe floor with the shots and hits he gets, and he does get PP2 time, which isn't utterly terrible. And then Parise plays on the third line with Barzal and with Wahlstrom. He's been okay lately, so he's not the worst pickup. Wahlstrom is the next guy, plays on that line as well. Has been ice cold, but they're really not giving him a lot of minutes. So, he's a guy who likes to shoot the puck, so he should give you a relatively safe floor. Not someone I'm super crazy about. And Beauvillier is someone who's also ice cold. Not someone I'm super crazy about either, even though he's skating with Nelson and Lee. Then I have Josh Bailey, who's skating on that line with Pajot and with Palmieri, and that line's actually relatively hot. Bailey hasn't been factoring in that much, but he's definitely someone that could potentially get some points just by default because he plays on that line. Then I have Eetu Luostarinen, and he's Florida's fourth line center. He'll give you okay peripherals. Don't expect a whole lot from him, though. And same with Cizikas, he's the Islanders' fourth line center. He's okay. He'll put up a point every once in a while, but the peripherals are okay as well. Don't expect a lot there either. Only add him if there's nobody above him available. Now, if you need a player for Saturday and Sunday, which you probably don't because your lineup's probably full on Saturday, these are the teams that play both Saturday and Sunday. Buffalo, Columbus, Detroit, Minnesota, Nashville, Philadelphia, San Jose, St. Louis, and Toronto. Now, the thing is, you can still look at the section of the video in case you want to add a player just for Sunday. If you're reaching Sunday and you're like, oh crap, I need to add somebody else. Well, somebody from these teams play on Sunday. Sunday teams are all the ones that you see on the screen, plus the ones that you saw in the Friday and Sunday section, which is the Islanders and the Panthers, and also the Anaheim Ducks. So the number one guy to add for those Saturday and Sunday games is Robert Thomas, who's been utterly sensational lately, has 17 points in his last 9 games. He's playing out of his mind right now on that line with Tarasenko and Buchnevich, and should be added in a lot of leagues. He's probably better than a lot of guys that you already have on your team right now because he is producing. And then Ivan Barbashev is someone else who's producing a lot right now, playing on that line with Shannon Kyrou. Definitely another guy that I love to add. Jakub Vrana is someone who's playing really, really well right now in Detroit, top power play, and he's getting a lot of points. Then I have Joel Eriksson Ek playing on that line with Foligno and Greenway like he has all year, playing pretty well. Tanner Jeannot, a little bit colder as of late, but he's been really solid all year, gives you a pretty safe floor with those hits. I do like some Tanner Jeannot for this weekend. Then I have Michael Bunting, who obviously has a pretty safe floor given that he plays on a line with Matthews and Marner. Get him in your lineups. Then I have Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators, plays on the top line with Philip Forsberg. And Matt Duchene. It's a pretty good place to be, and he's producing a lot right now. Definitely like him for this weekend. Then I have Jeff Skinner of the Buffalo Sabres. He's having himself a pretty nice year. He has over 30 goals now, and he's playing on a really good line with Thompson and Tuck, and top power play as well. He's definitely got a really good deployment and definitely someone to add for this weekend. Then I have Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings, who's playing relatively well right now on the top line and top power play in Detroit. And if he's available, he's someone that you can consider. Matt Boldy is someone who's finally back from injury. In his first game back, he got a goal and an assist. That's a pretty strong start, playing on a good line with Fiala. Then I have Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks. A little bit colder right now, but The upside's always there with Logan Couture. He plays on the top power play with Meyer and with Hurdle. It's a pretty good place to be. Then I have Marcus Foligno, who's always got a safe floor with those hits and those shots, and he's also pretty good for points. Then I have Tyler Bertuzzi, who could be a lot higher on this list if it wasn't for his super cold play as of late. He's still top line and top power play, so the opportunity is definitely there for Tyler Bertuzzi. It's just a matter of will he actually produce and take that opportunity. Then I have Alex Tuch of the Buffalo Sabres, seem to be trending back in the right direction, but has 0 points in his last couple games. I'm not reading too much into that. I think Tuch is going to be just fine, and I think he's got a really good deployment. Top line, top power play with Thompson and with Skinner. He's in a pretty good place. Then I have Ilya Mikheyev of the Toronto Maple Leafs playing on the second line with John Tavares, and he's playing pretty well right now. Then I have Kevin Hayes and Victor Olofsson. Hayes has 5 points in his last 5 games, and Olofsson has 9 in his last 8. They're both playing pretty well right now. Kevin Hayes is the only guy worth anything on Philadelphia right now, but Buffalo's not looking too bad for Victor Olofsson. Then I have Mikael Granlund of the Nashville Predators playing on the second line. Not a great second line with Kunnin and Tolvanen, but he does play on the top power play, so there's opportunities for him to score points there. Then I have Jordan Greenway, who plays on that line with Foligno and with Eriksson Ek, and he's actually been playing pretty well as of late. Then I have Voracek and Bjorkstrand. Both are pretty cold right now. I don't love either of them, but if there's nobody above these guys available on this list, there's someone that I would definitely consider. And Cam Atkinson, who's ice cold right now, but he's been good enough this season for me to still consider him if you're super desperate and just want to take a dart throw at somebody. And then I have Alexander Kerfoot, who's playing on that line with Tavares and Mikheyev. And because he's on that second line with 2 pretty good players, he's actually doing decently himself, so I don't mind the ad. And last but not least, I have Casey Middlestat of the Buffalo Sabres playing on the top power play now, and as well as a line with Olofsson, who's really hot. Middlestat is actually someone I like right now, and I think he's going to do pretty well. Jumping into defensemen now, and number 1 on the list is Radko Gudas if you're in a hits league. If you're not, he's not on this list at all for you, okay? Radko Gudas is someone that hits a lot, though, and gives you a super safe floor, and that's why he's really good ad, especially if you're in a points-based league. Then Jared Spurgeon of the Minnesota Wild has been really good also. Is actually now over 60% roster, but I kept him here anyway in case he's still available in your league because Spurgeon is playing some really good hockey right now. Then Jeff Petrie, who's finally back from injury from Montreal, has 2 points in 2 games so far with some solid peripherals. I'm liking Petrie for this week. Then I have Ben Sherrod of the Florida Panthers, was traded from Montreal, been putting up some really solid peripherals and actually been putting up a point every couple of games as well. Definitely someone that I love as well. Mark Giordano, someone who's putting up some really good peripherals, putting up some points for Toronto. I like him as well. Provorov is someone who's finally started to put up some points. He's actually doing something right now, and because of that, I'll stream him as long as he's hot. And then Erik Karlsson is ice cold, but got an assist last game, so maybe he's righting the ship. We'll have to see. The upside is definitely still very high with Erik Karlsson, though he does play on that top power play in San Jose. Then I have Ristolainen only for hits leagues because he does give you a really safe floor with those hits. Don't mind him. Mattias Ekholm is someone who's playing some really solid hockey right now, putting up points and putting up some decent peripherals, someone that I do like as well. Ryan Pulock is someone who's putting up some block shots and puts up an assist every couple of games or so. Montour and Forsling are 2 defensemen who are playing really well right now for Florida. And Florida scores so many goals that they're bound to factor into them. Then I have Alexandre Carrier of the Nashville Predators putting up some actually relatively decent peripherals while also putting up points every now and then as well. Don't mind him at only 4% rostered. Colton Parayko is my next guy at 32% rostered. The peripherals seem to have fallen off a cliff, so I'm a little bit worried about him, but the upside's still relatively decent for him. And then I have Nick Leddy, who would be much higher on this list, but it seems like Torrey Krug is back when I'm recording this. So does Leddy stick on that top power play given how hot he's been? It's possible. If he does stay on the top power play and does stay hot, you can move Leddy up right above Rasmus Ristolainen. But if he gets knocked off that top power play, I'm going to have to say maybe don't stream Leddy for this week. All right, guys, so now we're jumping into the categories league section of the video. And this is for shots on goal. So if you're really close in your matchup, like you're winning by a couple of shots or you're losing by a few shots, well, it might be worth picking someone up to make sure that you win that category. Remember, everybody listed here plays 2 games this weekend. So if you see Tage Thompson with 3.3 shots on goal, well, over 2 games, he'll get a 6.6. So he'll get 6 or 7 shots on goal over 2 games, which is pretty freaking solid. So he's the number one guy to add. Then Jeff Skinner gets 3.2 per game. Atkinson 3.0, Alex Tuch 2.9, Eriksson Ek 2.9, Ilya Mikheyev 2.8, only 6% roster, Bjorkstrand 2.7, and Jakub Vrana 2.6. If you need blocks, the number one guy to add is Mario Ferraro. He's finally back. He blocks 2.5 times per game. Ryan Pulock also blocks 2.5 times per game. Colton Parayko 2.2, David Savard 2.1, Provorov 2.1, Andrew Peak 2.1, and Jacob Middleton 2.0. If you need hits, the number one guy to add is Radko Gudas, who hits a whopping 4.8 times per game. No one else is even close. The next closest is Tanner Jeannot, who hits 3.6 times per game, although he has a nice points upside as well. Ristolainen hits 3.5, Matt Martin 3.4, Marcus Foligno 3.3, and Joel Edmondson 3.1. And if you need face-off wins, the number one guy to add is Ryan Getzlaf. Now keep in mind, Getzlaf only plays one game this weekend. I only included him here because he does play on Sunday. So if you need someone to add specifically for Sunday and you need face-off wins, Getzlaf is probably your guy because he's really good at it. And then everyone else on this list plays 2 games this weekend. Pajot gets 9.4 face-off win per game. Eriksson Ek 9.1, Sissons 9.1, Johansson 8.6, Logan Couture 7.9, Robert Thomas 7.7, David Camp 7.5, Sazika 7.3, Brock Nelson 6.6, and Pius Suter 6.1. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped. Good luck in your matchups, guys. I hope you win.